So good morning, you guys. I want to talk about AEW, and I want to mention that I did watch AEW last night, and it was a really really strong show. That they had really great matches, and they had really great like pacing and everything like that. I was actually surprised that they had pyrotechnics as well. Really, like they honestly made the Austin show a big deal, which is obviously good because you're gonna have the AEW all in show, the 50,000 seat arena. So you got to make sure every single time you go to Texas, you make it a big deal. But I do want to mention that like the big standout thing to me last night was Harley Cameron and her, diss rap on Mercedes Monet. Like it was definitely really funny with the puppet. They did the thing that they should have done, which is you hear the crowd reacting to that, and she got a very strong reaction. And then the other thing about that is also too like I blame the audio people. They could have just made her voice louder and the music a little bit lower. Like honestly, this keeps happening. They need to fire the audio person. But it was something really cool and innovative. And I actually will say that the big thing that AEW really needs to do is make Harley Cameron a star. If they do something like they're like, okay, well, after Mercedes Monet, we have nothing for you. You're lost on the roster. You need to take time off. You're going to create another Ricky Starks type of situation because it will just be having a very, very talented wrestler that could be something and you make them nothing really. So, do you want to see Harley Cameron in NXT or do you actually want to see her, like, make AEW bigger and greater again? This actually reminds me a lot of the Acclaimed because a few years ago when the Acclaimed were really mattering in AEW, like that was actually the reason why I started traveling and going to AEW shows. Like I remember like in 2022 when they won the AEW titles, tag team titles, that was a really big moment. But then after that, they had a couple months of doing diss raps and incorporating Max Caster's raps and his edgy raps and other things like that. Like honestly, you had a very unique character and a character that was different. You look at Harley Cameron, and yes, she does ventriloquism. She has a very funny personality. She's also somebody who doesn't mind being edgy and inappropriate when it works. And also, like, her comedy and her bubbly personality really, really works for her. There are some wrestlers like the Santino Marella that can always be really, really funny and it can work. And then there's people like John Cena who can actually fluctuate between serious and funny when appropriate. And then there's like some wrestlers that just always need to be serious, and when they try to act funny, it actually hurts the show and all that. So she's one of those wrestlers, just like John Cena, where she can be serious and she can be funny, and she can actually do that, very, very well, and she needs to do that. And I think that my big thing is that I'm very worried, and I think we all kind of know that Mercedes Moné is not going to drop the title to her. But like I've said, if you want to do good, big money booking, what you would do is that hey, you would have Harley Cameron win every single week. You'll have her feature. You'll have her feud with new people, and then you do something like Marina Shafir wins the AEW Women's Championship. She becomes the top heel, and then you lead to Harley versus Marina at All In, and then you give Harley Cameron the title, and you make her a really, really big deal. Like that would be the best thing that you could do. And then the other issue is that like I said about Max Caster and Anthony Bones, for example, the big thing about Harley Cameron is she's the P word. She has a large personality. And that's one of the reasons why AEW does not appeal to a lot of people, is because not a lot of wrestlers have a lot of large personalities. You see just Dave Meltzer wrestlers, where you just do tour de force types of matches, and that's it, really. And then also you see repetitive things like Kyle Fletcher. He's a wannabe Randy Orton, and he does a bunch of the blood-licking and blood-tasting thing that Swerve and other people do. So you have an issue with a lot of wrestlers that don't try to be unique. With Harley Cameron, her natural talent is that she's a ventriloquist, that she can speak Chinese, that she's a rapper, and she dresses like a big pop star. So the big thing about that is she's taking what she has, really, and then she's elevating it. Like, I think it was like Crime Time who once famously said that the best way to be a professional wrestler is to take your personality and bring it up to 200, really, or, you see that with Max Caster. Like, obviously, you see his rap gimmick in AEW, and you see how much that got him over when he first started, really. So there really, really needs to be a lot more of that. You look at Hangman Adam Page, he gets over because his character is a psychopath, or MJF is a sociopath, or you even look at, somebody like Luchasaurus, like where he's a dinosaur, or you look at another character like Swerve Strickland, where he's definitely just somebody, the most dangerous man. Obviously, these are personalities that matter in AEW and personalities that actually draw money and are a big deal, really. You look at any of those people, like you want to headline a pay per view and a AEW pay per view. These personalities really, really are what are marketing these wrestlers. So with Harley Cameron, she is one person in a very dangerous situation where, like I've said, she could have this, 6 minutes of fame, or Tony could say something like, no, I have to actually build a story. I actually have to give you a really big moment, and I have to make you the champion, really. And then the other thing, like I've said, is that very, very dangerously, the big problem that they can run into is that they just do Tony Storm and Mariah May a little bit longer. And the problem is you can't do that because it is so done. It's so repetitive. It would just be like if you had MJF become the AEW champion and then he just feuded with Adam Cole another year or more. This Tony Storm and Mariah May, like stealing identities like this, whatever happened to Baby Jane bullshit needs to stop, really. You've done it to death. It needs to go away. The best thing that they can do is have Marina Shafir have Tony Storm lose, have Mariah May lose to Tony Storm, have Tony Storm be the champion. You give it to Marina Shafir at Revolution, and you actually do something like maybe Tony is getting beat down by Marina, then Mariah May has a change of heart, trying to save Tony. They both get beaten down, and then they're off television. They find new characters, and you have Marina Shafir be on top. You have her speak on the microphone. You have her be a big deal for the women's division. You create a vision of big, badass women trying to go after her. And then eventually you get to Harley Cameron, and then Harley Cameron takes the title off of her at All In. Like, that's just such an easy story. But Tony probably won't do that. He's just not. He probably will not see how that would be best for business and how that would create a good emotional journey. But like I've said before, and I'll say it again, and this is the sad thing: if Harley Cameron does not get over in a big way, if she's not utilized, this thing does not develop into something, NXT needs to look at her and be like, what would happen if you took Harley Cameron and you made her a star in WWE, where she's on the main, she does a rap with a puppet making fun of Nia Jax, or if you want to do a power trip angle with The Rock's daughter. Imagine if she did that. There's so much there's so much in that can actually be successful anywhere she chooses to go, really. So if Tony does not see this opportunity, then fuck Tony Khan for that. Harley Cameron has so much potential right now, and that needs to be utilized. Honestly, if you really want a star of 2025, there are a few people on that list. There's Harley Cameron, there's Anthony Bowens, and in my opinion, I think that's really it. There's really no other two new stars, in my opinion, that on your roster that really, really would stand out, unless you put energy into Megan Bayne actually speaking on the microphone and being a personality, or you actually do something where you make what's his name? Where you actually we make I'm thinking of another wrestler on the roster, I just lost my train of thought, getting older, really. But say Anthony Bowens is a great example, somebody that can actually rise to the top and really, really stand out. I think it's Kyle Fletcher. Kyle Fletcher can be somebody, but he needs to stop the blood licking. He needs to find more of a different personality that kind of fits him a little bit more. But you do have wrestlers. I think every year you do have wrestlers on the roster that can be somebody that can maybe be big deals, really. So Harley Cameron really needs to be that. I was actually Marina Shafir, but Marina Shafir, like I said, she needs to find her personality. She needs to talk more. She needs to kind of engage with the audience, or Shane Taylor, another big example. He has a big personality, but they don't give him a lot of opportunities to show that, So there are wrestlers, and to reiterate, Marina Shafir, Anthony Bowen, Shane Taylor, Kyle Fletcher, and Harley Cameron, who could be this year, Anthony Bowens, who could be a class of people of your new stars, really. So do you want to actually do that, or do you want to just be okay, Mercedes Benz is going to retain, and we do nothing with it, build a story for Harley Cameron, make Harley Cameron a really, really big deal, and you'll make a lot of money. You would actually garner more interest. So hopefully this is not a one-off thing. To me, this is the most important thing on the show, and hopefully they don't fuck it up with Harley Cameron.